Hi, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk Chicago. My name's Jon Zaghloul. Great to have you here on Channel 59.3 BPOD TV and Roku. Matt Nagy got hired. Matt Nagy somehow, some way, got hired, and you don't want to miss my rant. It comes up in just a second. Before we get started, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Z Sports and on Facebook at Jon Zaghloul. You can watch more of this show. Search up Sports Talk Chicago on YouTube or go to sportstalkchicago.com. You can watch more shows from the BPOD TV network. Search up BPOD TV on YouTube. I want to start today with this. I'm almost happy, truthfully. You know, it's pretty pathetic to go back to your old team, old job, isn't it? I mean, think about it. You quit an old job, you're so happy, I got a promotion, and then you crawl back there after a couple of years. That's pretty pathetic. That kind of comforts me a bit. There is, though, one burning question that's still inside my chest. Why did Matt Nagy get hired again? For what reason? I don't care if it's really his old job, new job, whatever it might be. What makes him qualified to be hired or employed by an NFL team? Oh, John, you're forgetting about 2018 Coach of the Year. I don't care. We've seen proof. There's been multiple methods of proof to show that he's sabotaged his quarterback, that he's being hired as a quarterback's coach. Somebody explain to me how any of that makes sense. Hey, Urban Meyer got fired for a number of different things. One of them included, supposedly, kicking his kicker, hurting Trevor Lawrence. The whole stripper incident thing, but that's not the point. The point is, he was fired for negligence. He was fired for problems on his team. Maybe Matt Nagy had no off-the-field issues, but it's documented. We know that he sabotaged Mitch Trubisky, Allen Robinson, Anthony Miller to an extent. What makes him qualified to even be hired in the NFL? You know, I saw this news when it came out. My heart was beating out of its chest. I was fuming. Ruined my whole day. I'm all for forgiveness, for getting a new chance. He did things on purpose to sabotage Mitch Trubisky. In my book, there are no second chances. There is no chance for redemption here. Know what he did? Put everything on Mitch Trubisky, kept his job, hurt Justin Fields, now hired again. Mitch Trubisky's over here fighting for his career. Matt Nagy ruined it, and yet, right back to Andy Reid, right back to his best friend, get another job. I'm not surprised. I was warned about this, and you all have been too if you watched my program. Randy Mueller, former NFL GM, comes on all the time, and he told me a number of times, Matt Nagy will be hired again. Ryan Pace will too. It just shocks me that Matt Nagy specifically got another job. Didn't deserve it. Didn't deserve it. Just so disappointed. You know, there might have been other people who've been within the Chiefs organization who might have worked their way up to that sort of position. They didn't get it. No, it went to Matt Nagy. Because Andy Reid wants to take care of his coaches. I want to really know what Matt Nagy's going to be doing in Kansas City. If I were the Chiefs and I was smart, don't let him near Patrick Mahomes. And he won't be. He might be a senior offensive assistant quarterback's coach. Who's calling the plays? Andy Reid. Matt Nagy's just going to be another guy on the sidelines with a headset, hoping for the next opportunity. That's never going to come, by the way. It better not. The next team to hire Matt Nagy to be a head coach, let's start digging your grave right now. Colossal mistake. I saw a lot of people on Twitter praise this move for the Chiefs. Oh, he did great with us in the years he was here before. Worked well with Pat Mahomes his rookie year. Even Patrick Mahomes was pretty happy about the news. Here's what Mahomes said about Nagy before, in the past. Obviously, he was an awesome, awesome coach, and he helped me out a ton, helping explain things to me as I was coming up from a totally different offense to this one. He really helped me with just presenting it in a different way that I understood, and I was able to pick up so I could have success wherever I was in practice or in preseason games or in the last game of the regular season back in 2017. You know, it's pretty funny. Why help out Patrick Mahomes but not Mitch Trubisky when you come here? What possesses you to change from helping out one youngster to screwing another? Here's what the article said, too, just to give you this perspective. Quote, Nagy went from a star coach to a frequent target of criticism for Chicago's listless offense. Well, it was all well-deserved. However, reuniting with Mahomes in a less prominent role could be the perfect remedy. My question is this, perfect remedy for what? For his career? I'm going to be here and I'm going to remind everybody for years to come what Matt Nagy did here in Chicago. If it's 5 years from now, Nagy's going to be a big commodity again, I will be here to remind everybody what happened. He thinks he's going to run away. He thinks by going back to KC, taking this small role, he'll be out of the public eye for a little bit. He's going to run away from all the criticism, all the problems, all the reports. And he'll change up his career for the next head coaching gig. Newsflash, I'm not letting you go. Other people might, right? Nobody cares anymore. John, why are you still talking about Mitch Trubisky, Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace? Get a grip. No. I'm not going to stop talking about this. And I will continue to expose him till eventually, hopefully, no more jobs for him in the NFL. There's no reason why he deserves a job in the NFL at this point. We have proof he sabotaged Mitch Trubisky. Hey, the only fair thing, if you're going to criticize and hurt your own quarterback's career, what about yours? Matt Nagy made millions of dollars from the Bears while kicking out Mitch Trubisky, sending him to the curb. Almost hurt his career. This close. And if it wasn't for Mitch being a good sport about it, getting a one-year deal, being a backup, hurting his ego even more, maybe he'd be done in the NFL. Mitch Trubisky checked his ego at the door and somehow stuck around. Matt Nagy never lost his ego, gets another job. I'm sure you've experienced this too, right? Like someone you know probably doesn't deserve sort of position or a job and they get it. It's frustrating. I can't imagine a lot of Chiefs assistants, right? A lot of offensive assistants were eyeing this position, didn't get it, goes to Matt Nagy, some failed has-been coach who sabotages quarterbacks for a living. For a living. And he gets the job. There is no justification for why he should ever be near an NFL team again. Go coach a high school team, college team, whatever it might be. But even then, I'd be scared, right? If he sabotaged Mitch Trubisky at the NFL level, who's to say he won't do the same thing in high school or college? He shouldn't be around football again, period, and instead, he gets another shot. I don't care if it's not a head coaching position. This will inevitably lead to a head coaching position again. Wrong. Shame on the Chiefs, and shame on Andy Reid for giving Matt Nagy another chance. He doesn't deserve another chance. Not after this. Not after what happened here. Remember when the Bears hired him? Remember 12-4, Mitch Trubisky? Great team. Then what? 8-8, 8-8, and whatever the hell this year was? You go through two different quarterbacks, two star quarterbacks, and a bunch of backups. Completely bungle the quarterback situation this year, too. You know, if Matt Nagy's such a good quarterbacks guy, Why'd he sabotage Mitch Trubisky and screw up completely what happened this year with Justin Fields, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles? That'd be such a great quarterback guy, right? Good quarterback IQ. Got hired as a quarterback coach. Why'd all that happen under his watch? Why'd the Bears' offense play like crap after 2018? And even during 2018 to an extent? Why'd Mitch Trubisky get blamed for problems that weren't really his fault? Why was his development stunted by his own head coach? Why'd Matt Nagy choose not to meet with Trubisky after 2020? All these questions should make sure that he should never be a coach again, right? These are all things that would be red flags for any other candidate, and yet he's still employed. Someone hired him. Just goes to show you, all about patronage, all about people you know. That's really it. He went back to the place where he knew he'd be okay. And again, if he thinks, by going back to Andy Reid, by being all sheltered in Kansas City, away from the Chicago market, oh, he's just some low-level assistant. Who cares about him? No, I'm going to track him. I'm going to keep talking about him. I'm going to make sure that he never leaves the accountability. He needs to be accountable for what he did here. So he's not getting off the hook with me. Everybody else won't care, right? Everybody else is going to refuse to talk about this. Well, keep moving on. Let's worry about Matt Eberflus, Ryan Poles, of course, understandably. But I'm not letting him off the hook. Not after what he did, and not just Mitch Trubisky, which is a big problem for me, what he did to Justin Fields, what he did to this fan base and this city for the past 4 years. Not just Mitch Trubisky. Justin Fields, too. Anybody else remember Cleveland Browns? Fields' first start, just getting mauled and manhandled, sacked? Anybody else remember? Oh, but Nagy didn't want to play him. And it was George McCaskey who overruled Nagy in that case. What a weak head coach. And yet, the year before, quote, we need better play out of the quarterback position. That was a quote from the year-end press conference after 2020. Better play, huh? You benched Mitch Trubisky for Nick Foles. Anybody could have seen it was a stupid move. Just a horrible idea. But you did it. A lot of people supported you, too. And everybody realized, wow, what a stupid move. Bring back in Mitch, you win a couple of games, go to the playoffs, and then nothing. At the end of the year, you have the audacity to say, oh yeah, better play out of the quarterback position. You get your new guy, the guy you wanted, new quarterback, rookie, and can't even develop him. 7 touchdowns, 10 picks, 11 fumbles, and now you're fired. Thank you. He was the problem from day one, not the quarterback. You know, something's pretty fishy when you got Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Chase Daniel, Mitch Trubisky, and Justin Fields not working in your system. Can't just blame it on Mitch Trubisky and move on. Oh, yeah, he's a bust. It was his fault. Not my fault. It's my offense. It's great. No, it isn't. It sucks. You intentionally ruined a kid's career. Think about how bad that is. You know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. There are a lot of coaches I've had when I played baseball. A lot of them who always told me, you know, you're not just my player, you're my kid. Want you to develop, want you to be a good kid on and off the field. You're my kid. You're not just my player. Why didn't Matt Nagy have that approach with Mitch Trubisky? Allen Robinson, too. He tanked their careers. Who knows where they're going to be come next year? I already know what happened to Mitch. I mean, Mitch had to take a backup job. We could all say, okay, Mitch Trubisky may not be that good. 16 touchdowns, 8 picks, good passer rating. That's not a backup. Right? That's not backup numbers. That's pretty good. That's a low-end to middle-end starter. Should have been starting somewhere. Couldn't because of what Matt Nagy did to his reputation. Oh, it's all Mitch Trubisky. This guy's damaged goods. He's a big bust. Should have drafted somebody else. Well, you know what? How about the Chiefs should have hired somebody else? How about you shouldn't be in the NFL, period? End of story. There's no reason. Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't take lightly to sabotaging other players' careers. I don't. Especially people who are good people. Mitch Trubisky, everybody said universally, whether you loved him or you hated him, good guy. Allen Robinson, for the most part, everybody said good guy. Both careers sabotaged at the hands of one man. Shouldn't that bother you? Because it sure as hell bothers me. Both careers sabotaged at the hands of one man. One man. I guess Matt Nagy's in that business now, right? In the business of sabotaging his players. And all I have to say, a message to Chiefs fans who might be happy or wondering about how this move went, be careful, Patrick Mahomes. Be wary. Because if I know Matt Nagy, I do know this. He's clever. He's conniving. And oh yeah, he has a massive ego. If you let him infiltrate your offense for any reason, say goodbye to the offense. Offense is over. Going to be putting up 15 points a game with Patrick Mahomes. Then what's going to be said, right? If Matt Nagy actually got a say in the Chiefs' offense, and they're putting up 20 points a game with Patrick Mahomes, wonder what the narrative's going to be. They're not going to dare blame Patrick Mahomes, right? No. But here we had to blame Mitch Trubisky, send him out of town, blame Allen Robinson, send him out of town. No blame for Justin Fields. Then everybody finally caught on and said, you know what, maybe this is a Matt Nagy problem. Yeah, no blank. It's been a number of years. If somebody could explain to me what qualifications he has to be hired as a coach, tell me. Comment at me on social media. Tell me what qualifications he has to be a head coach or to be a coach in general. Doesn't matter what it is. Head coach, quarterback's coach, senior offensive assistant. Tell me what that means and why he is supposedly qualified to get that job. I'd love to hear the explanation. Right, senior offensive assistant. Oh, he knows so much about how to run an offense in the NFL, right? Or how to develop a quarterback, right? Yeah, of course. Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, that was all Matt Nagy. No, it wasn't. And this is a travesty by Andy Reid and the Chiefs. It is. You chose to reward somebody for sabotaging other players' careers. That is unacceptable. Only part of me is happy that he had to crawl back to Andy Reid. That's pathetic, so I'm happy. You know what? It proves to me that nobody else wanted him to. Really. He was probably going to have to sit out for the 2022 season. Who else wanted Matt Nagy? We didn't hear any reports. And by the way, we still haven't heard a response about what he did to Mitch Trubisky in the report that came out from The Athletic. We still have not heard a response. See what I mean? He's trying to go to a different market, smaller media market, becoming some low-level guy to stay away from this blowback. But again, I'm not buying it. I demand a response from Matt Nagy. All these reports. You got 3 of your former players, a quarterback, a prominent wide receiver, and another guy who should have been developed, Anthony Miller, all claiming you sabotaged them. Why are we not hearing a response? He got hired. Ryan Pace got hired too. We aren't hearing any responses from them as to what happened here in Chicago. That's fishy. I demand a response. Probably won't happen, but I demand one because this is ridiculous. He thinks he's smart, you know. Thinks he's smart to go, oh, I'm going to go back to Kansas City. Everybody there loves me. I'll be happy. Nobody will ask me anything about the Bears or what happened because I'm in a smaller media market, and who knows, maybe Kansas City media won't even ask questions about this, or they won't be allowed to ask questions about it, and that's it, end of story. I want to know. I want to know what happened here. I'm not done searching up this story or looking into it. I want to know what happened. I want to know how it's acceptable for a guy to sabotage a quarterback's career, sabotage a prominent wide receiver's career, turn around, get fired, get another job and get paid and stay in the NFL. He scapegoated so many people to stay here in Chicago. He fed into his massive ego and his power trip. And yet, somehow, some way, he's still allowed to be a coach in the NFL. Remember Chuck Pagano got fired, right? They blamed Chuck Pagano and Mitch Trubisky at the end of 2020. Now, this past year, even with him being fired, people are going after Allen Robinson. This guy takes people down with him. And he never really went down. Again, got another job. Going to get paid handsomely, going to sit there with a clipboard and a headset on the sidelines and be fine. And I guarantee you, you know what? If he got hired again, right, by Andy Reid, chances are he will be a head coach again at some point. Going to take probably a number of years, like Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels, people forget, was a train wreck in Denver. Train wreck. Totally bungled the quarterback situation there. They had Kyle Orton doing great. Took him out, put in Tim Tebow. That whole thing was horrible. He got fired for it, too. Now he's back in Oakland. And I hope it goes well. I wish him the best. But the point is, it didn't work. And again, Denver, small media market. If that happened in Chicago, what he did in Denver, he'd never get a head coaching job again. Maybe he'd be an assistant somewhere, not a head coach. Now, same thing for Matt Nagy. This guy ruined the careers of Mitch Trubisky and Allen Robinson, but you know what? Mainly Mitch Trubisky. Yes. Really, that was it. And yeah, I have a problem with that. Whether you like the kid or not, I don't think many of you would be happy if somebody ruined your career for no reason, too. Mitch Trubisky, not a bad kid, worked his butt off, tried his hardest to do something on the field, was never catered to. I read you the quotes last week about Mitch and what he said. Nice to be free in an offense where you don't have to overthink, right? He was sabotaged. I'm sure many of you watching, listening, have had the same thing or something similar happen to you in your jobs, right? Somebody sabotages you. Do you really want them to turn around and find another job just like that and move on? And you're still sitting there trying to plan out your next career move because you were sabotaged by them? No, I didn't think so. That's why I got a problem with this. He completely tanked Mitch Trubisky's career. Everybody could say what they want. Oh, hey, Mitch rebuilt his image. The fact is, a lot of people still remember what happened here. That's always going to follow Mitch around for the rest of his career. And that's unfortunate. That's because of Matt Nagy. Same with Allen Robinson, too. Robinson's under that same boat here. So, I don't know what else to say here at this point. Matt Nagy did not deserve to get another job. He didn't. And he did. Andy Reid stuck out his hand, hired him again. We've heard reports. We've heard what Matt Nagy did purposefully to Mitch Trubisky. So he can't even deal with players, right? He can't even deal with personnel, with players. He fired Chuck Pagano. No need for that. He ran out Mitch Trubisky. He stifled Allen Robinson and his potential for targets this past year. He did things on purpose to hurt certain players on his team. What makes him qualified to then coach different players on a different team? You know what? Chiefs' problem now. Really, it is. It's going to go one of two ways. One, they're going to actually make him a part of the offense and he'll screw things up, and then I could say I told you so. Or two, he's just going to stand there, have no real job, and collect a paycheck. And in a couple of years, he'll be another head coaching candidate. when that day comes, mark my words, wherever I am, whether it be on this YouTube, whether it be wherever I might be, I promise you I'm going to make a video explaining why this would be a horrible move for any team involved, for any team potentially interested. Wherever I am, mark my words, I will. I will not forget. This was an orchestrated move to help advance his career. Really, it was. You can't go wrong here. You go back to Patrick Mahomes, back to Andy Reid, back to KC's offense. Not a huge title, but still a decent enough one to garner some respect. And a small, crappy media market in which nobody cares about what happened here. No one's going to ask those questions. Hey, Matt, what happened in Chicago? Hell, if they do, they'll probably be kicked out. He really made the best move for his career. Give him that much. But I won't forget. Nope, I won't. You shouldn't either. I'm going to keep holding him accountable. If I hear his name again, there will be another video. I'm going to show you and show everybody why he shouldn't be another head coach, why he shouldn't even be in the NFL, period. He hurt people, hurt innocent people for his own benefit, caused the downfall of others to keep his job. That, to me, is a horrible person. Really? You're firing Chuck Pagano? You're blaming all your troubles on one quarterback? You ever think about his life and about his career and about what he wants to do in the NFL? No, you didn't, because you wanted to keep your job. Mitch Trubisky's fighting for a contract. And yet, Matt Nagy already has another job and he's fine. Allen Robinson fighting for another contract. Matt Nagy already taken care of. That is a huge problem that should be talked about more. I hope more people understand the significance of this hiring. See, everybody wants to say, oh my gosh, Matt Nagy got hired, that's funny, and move on. No. He got hired, and the people he hurt are still searching and clamoring for some sort of opportunity. To me, that's messed up. Thanks for watching today's show here on BPOD TV, channel 59.3 in Roku. Really appreciate the time. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Z Sports and on Facebook at Jon Zaghloul. You want to watch more of these shows? Search up Sports Talk Chicago, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, sportstalkchicago.com. Remember to tune in every night at 10:30 to watch more Sports Talk Chicago right here on BPOD TV. So long, everyone.